Hello, everybody.
Hi.
A&P Adventures here.
That's right.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Patrick.
And we're glad you're with us today. Today we're showing off the 9/11 Memorial.
That's right.
We're going to be taking you to that site and walking around the plaza there and showing off the pools and a little bit more on our journey today.
Yeah.
It is Monday, May 22nd. It is 68.
we both went Celsius and Fahrenheit backwards. Yes, 68 Fahrenheit, about 20 degrees Celsius. So.
All right, let's get going.
Let's go.
All right, so we're starting here on Broadway near Vesey Street. And this is St. Paul's Chapel right in front of us. We're starting about a block and a half away from the World Trade Center site. This chapel actually dates back to 1766. It's the only surviving pre-revolutionary church in Manhattan. It was designed by Thomas McBean. It's an Episcopal church. It's in the late Georgian church architecture style. It was named a historic landmark in 1960. Fun fact about this church, this is where George Washington worshipped on his inauguration day. His first inauguration was right here in New York City. Now the rear of this church faces the World Trade Center site. And interestingly enough, not even a single window was broken on the day of the 9/11 attacks. The church organ had some damage by dirt and smoke, but it has since been restored. But this place was a refuge for workers, volunteers, mourners during that time because of its proximity to the site.
Yeah, exactly. And these iron gates right here, for weeks after the attacks, were filled with cards and flowers and gifts and wishes, condolences from people all over the world. And the whole world really did embrace New York City at that time. It was really special. New Yorkers have never forgotten that.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, St. Paul's Chapel. And we're going to sort of make our way over to show you the Oculus, which is also part of the World Trade Center site, and then make our way into that area as well. All right, so we just left Broadway. We're on Day Street, D-E-Y. And you're going to start to see the Oculus come into view, as well as the new One World Trade building. Now the Oculus, which is this figure right here in the middle of the screen that sort of looks like dinosaur bones, dare I say. My apologies to Santiago Calatrava, who's the designer of this. He really designed it to look like a bird flying from the hands of a child, a beautiful image right across the street from the World Trade Center site. This is the World Trade Center Transportation Hub. So in this building, you'll find the PATH trains, which is essentially like the subway to New Jersey, as well as a few subway lines. This opened in 2016. Again, it was designed by Santiago Calatrava, who also did the Milwaukee Art Museum, Turning Torso Tower in Sweden, the Olympic Sports Complex of Athens. He's done quite a bit. And you'll also find inside this building a lot of cafes and shops and restaurants so that commuters can do what they need to do on their way home. Now behind that, you're going to see One World Trade. Opened in November 2014. It's the tallest building in the United States at a total height of 1,776 feet, or 541 meters, although it's better to say it in feet, 1776, because it's a direct reference to the Declaration of Independence, the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Significance there, yeah.
Yeah. It does have an observation deck up there, 3 stories, with kind of a fun surprise on it. We won't spoil it, but it's an enjoyable observation deck up there at the top of One World Trade. Now we're going to go to the side of the Oculus, more to the northern part of it, because we want to show off where they store the all the mechanical equipment and the air conditioning hubs for World Trade Center. Because why not? That sounds interesting. But it's these buildings over here, these very colorful buildings. And it is on purpose, all of this graffiti. So it's a partnership with Silverstein Properties and the New York Port Authority. The New York Port Authority is basically our governmental agency that handles all the transportation in and out of New York City. And the building houses some of the World Trade Center cooling and operating equipment, but the developers thought it would be a bit of an eyesore, these just sort of big clunky buildings over here right across from the World Trade Center site. And they thought, let's try to brighten it up a little bit. So they invited 5 different artists to paint the buildings and create some love and joy so that this area doesn't feel quite as somber as it can feel when you hit the World Trade Center site.
I do love that they've created such a colorful and happy feeling in an area that does have such weight to it. It's such an awful thing.
Even down to the flower boxes. Over there you see a great view of One World Trade and the Oculus. Just terrific again, 1,776 feet. So we're going to make our way into the 9/11 site. What you will see in this area is the memorial that commemorates the almost 3,000 people killed in the attacks on September 11, 2001. You'll also see the museum for that. We're not going to go inside the museum today. We're just going to walk around the grounds. But it's coming into view right now. You're going to see these trees coming into view. It is a forest of swamp oak trees, as well as 2 reflecting pools that are in the footprint of the 2 towers. The whole World Trade Center site is about 16 acres, or about 6.5 hectares, and those 2 pools are known as reflecting absence, which symbolizes the loss of life as well as the physical void left. And around those pools, you're going to see the names of those killed in the 9/11 attacks, as well as the 6 killed in the 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center. And the museum kind of goes underground. This is the museum building right here. It's very much, the building is meant to look like a bridge between past events and the promise of renewal in the future. So you enter here on street level, and then it takes you down underground. It's a very somber experience. Before we head in, we'll just show you the Oculus from this other view as well. If you are coming down here to the World Trade Center site, it is a decent area to shop or grab a bite to eat, of course.
Yeah.
And that's also the 1 train goes right in that site as well, which is probably your most convenient train to this area. So we're going to go quiet now and let you reflect, let you remember, let you memorialize.
Yeah, pay your respects.
All right, so this is known as the survivor tree. It's a Callery pear tree that survived the attacks. The tree was discovered amidst the rubble with snapped roots and burnt and broken branches, and the New York City Parks and Rec Department helped rehab the tree, rehabilitate it, and returned it here in 2010. And it's meant to be a living reminder of resilience, survival, and rebirth. Each year, 3 seedlings from the tree are given to communities who have endured recent tragedies. Some of the recent ones were Greece because of their wildfires, Manchester, England because of the terrorist bombing at a 2017 concert, France after the 2015 and 2016 attacks in Paris and Nice. All right, so just to the west of the survival tree, or to the right of it, if you're walking down south through the park, is the Memorial Glade, this little section right here. And it's dedicated to those whose actions in our time of need led to their injury, sickness, and death. The responders, the recovery workers, survivors and community members suffering long after September 11th from exposure to hazards and toxins that hung heavy in the air in this area. It also memorializes those lost at the Pentagon and near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. And it also honors the tens of thousands from across America and around the world who came to help and to heal, whose selflessness and resolve and perseverance and courage really renewed the spirit of a grieving city and gave hope, not just to our city, not just to our country, but to our entire world, really. So the Memorial Glade is this area right here. So at the southern end of the plaza is Liberty Street, and just above Liberty Street, overlooking the plaza right here, is Liberty Park. This 1-acre elevated park. It opened in 2016, and it sits atop the World Trade Center Vehicular Security Center. And we're going to head on up there and show off a couple of the sites within the park. Okay, so we're now atop Liberty Park. You're going to see right here in the middle, sort of the main feature of Liberty Park, the Sphere. Now, the Sphere originally stood in the fountain in the plaza between the two towers, 25 feet tall, or about 7.5 meters. Bronze sculpture by German artist Fritz Koenig. And it was recovered from the rubble, damaged but largely still intact. Koenig conceived it to be a symbol of world peace. So it's nice to see that it's been restored saved and put up here at Liberty Park, overlooking the entire World Trade Center site. Again, this is about a 1-acre park up here that overlooks the entire World Trade Center site. So if you're coming down here, you need to give your feet a break. This is some of the best views of that entire area. From here you can see the museum, you can see the Oculus, you can see the base of One World Trade, you can see the forest of swamp oak trees, you can hear the sounds of the fountains below us. And this is the southern end of the park. And at the end of the park is the St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Church and National Shrine. Originally this was down one block. It was the only building to be completely destroyed that was not part of the original World Trade Center complex. Now this was also designed by Santiago Calatrava, who also did the Oculus that we were showing off at the beginning or earlier in our tour. And it includes a meditation and a bereavement space that welcomes all faiths inside. And it kind of glows in the evening as well. It's got this nice glow to it. So if you come behind the church, you'll see what's known as the Anne Frank tree. It's a sapling from the original chestnut tree that grew outside the secret annex where Anne Frank and her family hid from 1942 to 1944. And the Anne Frank Center for Mutual Respect planted this tree here in Liberty Park in 2016. One of the 11 saplings gifted across the United States as part of the Sapling Project. So at the corner of Greenwich Street and Liberty, at the southeastern corner of the World Trade Center site, you'll find the FDNY Memorial Wall, the Fire Department of New York. This was unveiled in June of 2006, and it's from the law firm Holland & Knight. It's dedicated to a partner at the law firm who was a volunteer firefighter and one of the 343 firefighters whose life was lost on that day. This is about 57 feet long, or 17 meters, about 6 feet high, or 2 meters, and it's made of bronze. And he was from Jericho, New York, out on Long Island.
All right, there you go. Thanks everyone for joining us on this little stroll through the park. You know, there is always a bit of a somber feeling in this area because of what happened here, but it's very peaceful, and everybody here in the neighborhood is very respectful and very peaceful, and you know, that's kind of nice. It feels very peaceful down here because of that.
Yeah. What they've done feels appropriate in this area.
Yeah.
Out of something terrible has become something beautiful and peaceful and appropriate.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today. If you want to check out our other videos on our page, by all means, there are plenty of others on there. Feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment. And again, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Patrick.
And thank you for joining us today.
Bye.